popping. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting of York County Board of Commissioners to order, please. Ask you to rise. We have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the York County Board of Commissioners meeting for August 9th, 2022. Roll call, please.
Brooks.
Present.
Bogren.
Present.
Lonsberger.
Present.
Sykes.
Present.
Obermeyer.
Present. Open meetings law is posted on the south side of our chambers, also in the hallway outside our chambers, and on our website. Proof of publication was on our website. It was also in the newspaper August 4th. Next, we need to review and approve the minutes of our last meeting, July 26th.
Move to approve the minutes from our previous meeting.
Thank you, Daniel.
Second.
Thank you, Jack. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Lonsberger.
Yes.
Bogren.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Next, we need to adopt today's agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Bill.
Second.
Thank you, Kurt. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Lonsberger.
Yes.
Bogren.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, up next, we do have our public forum, which will allow the public to speak to something that is not on the agenda for a couple minutes if you'd like to. We do have a full agenda today, so anybody from the public would like to come forward. Morning.
Good morning. Jim Jackson, 11 Hayes Township. You know my arguments about why we shouldn't have the solar panels on account of the 12% of the soil in the whole world. We live on it. 18% of the land in the United States is irrigated. We live on it. That produces 56% of that income. Now my attack today is how inefficient green energy is, but I'm gonna pass on that too, because the gas-fired generator will only take 2.6 acres for the same amount of energy. Solar takes 1,000 acres and windmills take 4,000. My main object of being here today is the friends you meet in life and ones that stay close to you. Some I met about 60 years ago in the military. One of them lives in northwestern Ohio. He lives in a rural area. We have a acreage there. He doesn't farm, but he knows agriculture's around him. Another one lives in Mishawaka, Indiana. He lives on the edge of the city. I don't know the person in Illinois. And I have some cousins at Clear Lake, Iowa. What do they all have in common? They're all being proposed solar panels. Why? Several reasons. It's a rural area, it's mostly flat, and hardly any zoning rules. Now, how convenient could that be? They all have the same MO. They might not have the same developer as we do, but that's where they're coming from, and the greenwash is pretty strong, and neither one of the land, especially in Iowa. Did anybody visit Fort Dodge yet? You want to see a real ugly sight, go see that 950 acres at Fort Dodge. The other thing is, we aren't going to get any of this electricity. We're going to put it down the stream, and we lose 10 to 15% going down transmission. Anyway, that's my feel for today. Thanks for listening to me, and God bless you, and good luck in your endeavors for today and wages and so forth.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public? Here we go. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Shannon Graves and I'm from Bradshaw. And I want to talk to you today about Summit Carbon Solutions since I see that they're on your agenda. There's a sense of deja vu I get from them And the more I learn, the worse that feeling gets. First off, it's obviously they're working from the TransCanada playbook. On the very first communication with landowners, in a letter written that's almost verbatim to the KXL landowners, they've already been threatening eminent domain. They don't have a single permit for the whole route from Iowa to North Dakota, and they're threatening eminent domain. The person you're scheduled to meet with today is a former TransCanada employee, Rob Latimer. From what I remember of him, he was in the commercials. He was kind of the front man at the Public Service Commission hearings, and I think he was kind of an overseer of the land agents in Nebraska. He has lots of experience in the industry doublespeak, half-truths, and misinformation. So far, I've heard that they've told landowners that they have 95% of the easements that they need. That's not a half-truth, that's just a flat-out lie. By Summit's own admission, they have between 30 and 40% of the needed easements along the whole project. My sense of deja vu is even stronger in coming in here today, because some of you will remember me, and my husband, and some of our friends from 2013 and 14, when we were trying to get zoning regulations for hazardous liquid pipeline protections for York County landowners. I told you then, almost every time that I spoke to you, that what we were asking for wasn't just on behalf of TransCanada, but TransCanada was just going to be the first. And I hate being right. I brought you some information from Bold Alliance on steps that legally can be taken at the county level to protect yourselves and landowners on this or the next pipeline project. Please read through this expertly researched and written material. There's only been 9 easements in York County on the record, so that leaves a good portion of the route through the county either opposed or undecided at this time. And we've heard of local landowners that have denied surveys of their property. But in other places, there are survey crews that are chopping holes in the roads and burying a kind of GPS device. I have to wonder if they know the landowners own property to the middle of the road and that they could be trespassing. I don't know if this is happening in York County, but since my husband and I have both spoken to these road survey crew guys, we know the possibility is there. I ask you today to pull out the road haul agreement that we paid for you to have, but you never adopted. I also think that your 10-year plan is about due again. And I ask you to take our research and recommendations more seriously this time. My last words for you today are this. This is not just about the Summit project. This is about this project and the next project and the next project, because we now know that there will be more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Manifesto, Jack?
What's that?
A manifesto?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't
No,
read one for you.
that's
I only
all right.
brought 5.
You're good.
Okay, while she is passing those out, anybody else from the public that would like to speak this morning? Seeing none, we'll move on to officials forum. Have any officials? Harvey. Good morning, Harvey.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Art.
Just a quick update on the roads. We're still blading roads, we're still hauling gravel. The road 4, the project at the bridge for the abutments, we have the groundwork laid. We are now just to the point waiting for the concrete people to get there to do their stuff. Electricity is starting into the shed in Benedict. Let's see what else. And I think that's pretty much a quick summary of what's going on in the road department.
Is the interior, you said electricity is starting to go, is there
Yes.
some interior work being, other than electricity?
No, we will build an office in there, but we will do that this winter.
Our own
When
manpower.
we slow down with our own manpower is when we'll build an office in there.
And like restroom facility, that was
Yes.
plumbed in.
Right, and it is, the plumbing is there, we just haven't went any further
Okay.
at this point in time. So,
Cool.
but no, the electricity is going in, that's the next major step on it. So,
Okay. Anybody else have anything hard this morning? He'll be around for a while.
Yes, I will.
Okay, any other officials this morning? Tristan?
This is just for the grant that I'm applying for, I guess you guys all look.
We have you on the agenda. Did you have anything else
No,
that
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 is
you
all.
wanted to cover? Okay, yeah, we got you on the agenda, so we'll be doing that. Okay, any other officials? Okay, there's no agenda, or there's no general assistance cases this morning. Next up, we review and approve payroll and vendor claims. Everybody should have had those. Any questions we can ask?
Haven't claimed it all.
Not that I'm aware of.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the payroll and vendor claims as presented.
Thank you, Kurt.
Second?
Thank you, Daniel. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bulgren.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Follinsford.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
And Overmar.
Yes. Okay, there is no funding transfers. We do have a shortfall in the juvenile diversion. And Tristan, while you are here, did you do some current billing on that, for that juvenile diversion? I know
Yes.
that there was a deal in there to pay for June, but we haven't seen June or July yet, which is making, us short on that one. So is that handled?
So I emailed the financial person that deals with the request and everything. She was gone last week, so she hasn't emailed me back just yet. It is accepted and everything, so I don't know how long it takes them to send it
Okay.
in, but it should be. I mean, they accepted my request for it and approved the amount and everything for June. So I
Okay.
don't know why it isn't here yet, but once I get a hold of her,
Okay.
I'll make sure that.
And you may work that out with her too, because like I say, if we're, I don't know how long we're typically behind, but, June, then it's July, and we're in August already, so
Yeah.
if we can get current on that, we'll make sure this is covered, obviously, for now, but we gotta get that current.
Yeah, so it should be soon that
Okay.
all of it's coming.
Just stay in touch with the clerk's office or myself on that.
Okay.
Okay, Lori, I know that we have discussed an act on in-transit vehicle acquisition. Could you step up and give us kind of where we're at on that?
You're talking about the one with the ARPA funding?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
yes. Still do not have all the quotes. I had one that was very high and one that thought he would get it to me by today, but I haven't received it. And then tried to get one with Ford, but they are no longer actually manufacturing vans anymore at this time. So couldn't get one from them. So we're at the point where we'll see if we can get some other quotes for next time and come in.
Okay. Any questions of Lori this morning? I mean, what she's telling me now this morning is there could be some jeopardy of what we thought we was getting for the Veterans Service Officer, not coming true now too, so. And the prices was actually double, a little higher than double of what we had quoted for the veterans, so. Not sure what's going on there, other than the mess we live in, so. You'll keep,
I'm gonna keep on it because we will still need that vehicle.
okay. Thank you. So for now, I'd entertain a motion to postpone any action on this item till a future meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Jack.
Second.
Thank you, Bill. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes.
Yes.
Follinsford.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Bulgren.
Yes.
Overmar.
Yes. Okay, then next up, we need to discuss and act on reappointment of York County Aging Partners Advisory Council, Fran Reiner. And I know Fran is back there.
Very important person. She's been a great support for our program, and I know she's been a great help over with Aging Partners on their board as well.
Okay, so the term of this reappointment
2 years,
from,
August of this year to July 31st of
24.
2024.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to reappoint Fran Reiner to the Aging Partners Advisory Council for the 2-year term.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Holmesberger.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Walden.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Overmark.
Yes. Thank you, Fran, for your help. Next up is discuss and act on signing the supplement agreement with NDOT.
Mhm. Yes, and it basically is, this vehicle is the first one we requested 2 years ago that we still haven't received. It is a lower floor minivan that has wheelchair accessibility and it has a side ramp. And it is paid 100% by CARES Act fund. I applied back then when they had CARES Act funding. And so it is paid for 100%. We don't owe anything on it. However, it wasn't able to be procured at the original amount. And so the state has come up with the funding, or the feds have come up with the funding to purchase, to cover the additional $12,000. So that one will be purchased, but we do need to sign off on it in order to approve
Okay.
and kind of amend our request for that vehicle. And hopefully this means that that vehicle may be coming soon.
And this was a Ford.
No, this
This
is
is
a
not.
Dodge.
A Dodge,
A lower
okay.
floor Dodge.
Okay.
Yeah, and so,
So we need to authorize the chairman to sign this agreement then?
Yes.
Supplemental agreement. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Kurt.
Second.
Thank you, Daniel. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Walden.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Holmesberger.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
And Overmark.
Yes. Thank you,
thank you
Lori.
very much.
Okay, Tristan, now you're up. Discuss and act on juvenile diversion grants.
Yeah, I copied just in case everyone wanted more of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so the main reason for this grant is to get us to be a full-time position and everything, and it has the benefits that go along with that, and then some supplemental training incentives and different costs for truancy, diversion, and our juvenile support program. So there's a couple trainings that I included, and then different incentives for each program that are listed in the operating expenses.
And this grant is due this is the one that was due Friday.
Yep, and they just said to get the application in, and then if you guys approve it, then get your signature.
Get the signature page in
Yep.
today.
Point of
Yep.
order, Mr. Chairman. Is this on the agenda? It's not on the online.
Oh, juvenile diversion.
It is on the agenda.
It's on the agenda
The
that's
one that-
printed here.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just not finding it on here.
No.
Discuss and act on
Just one
juvenile
that-
diversion
Yeah,
grant.
it's at the 9. Oh, no, shoot.
I didn't find it either, Kurt.
But if it's on that's the official agenda right
It
here.
is
Okay.
on this one here,
Okay, very good. Just want to make sure. Thank you.
the one that was posted.
Thank you. Sorry for interrupting.
Thank you, Kurt. Way to pay attention.
Wow.
Thoroughly.
Okay, so this grant is for year,
For the personal,
no, for what
oh,
year?
for this,
This
fiscal
budget year?
Yeah.
22, 23 budget
Yep,
year?
yep.
Okay.
And
So-
in June.
So they would award it fairly quickly then?
Right, so usually this grant is due along with the other grants at the beginning of the year, but they extended it to August for some reason, just maybe they had more money
Okay.
to give out and stuff, but
Okay,
yeah.
and this is the same grant that we've had in the past?
Yep, usually Rochelle accompanies it with the CB grant, and then this year she must have maybe just missed the deadline or something, and instead of the CB, she got the JS. Or this is the EB. She got the CB and JS this year.
Okay,
And so this is just the supplemental grant
Right.
that she usually gets.
this is the one that allowed it to have the benefits.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Once again, the due date was last Friday. I told him to hold off to get our signature, get the signature, authority to do the signature today, so, and then he'll get that into him.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to go ahead and authorize the chairman of the board to sign the application for the fiscal year 2023 community-based juvenile services aid through the Nebraska Crime Commission.
Thank you, Bill.
Second.
Thank you, Jack. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Osborne.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
Stottlemyre.
Yes, and I'll get this signed today, and then you can pick it up in the clerk's office.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, Tristan. Okay, next up is discuss and act on the annual certification and program compliance, roads department.
Good morning again.
Yes, sir.
This is what we do each year, and it is just saying that we are following the laws of the state of Nebraska, and that's what we're doing.
And this needs to be signed by all board members, I
Yes.
believe is what's on there.
And I think my name is on there somewhere also.
It probably is. I just haven't seen that part of it yet.
But I haven't signed it.
Yes, there we go. Okay. This is something we do on an annual basis.
Nothing's changed since last year and everything's in order. Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we as a board sign the annual certification of program compliance.
Thank you, Daniel.
Second.
Thank you, Kurt. Any other discussions regarding this? Roll call, please.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Stottlemyre.
Yes. And then you can get this morning after we're done. Is that all
Yes,
right?
that would be
You send it in, or does Kelly send it in?
Kelly's been sending it in.
Okay, so then you can just sign your part then if you want, and then we can take it over from there. I think you were on the last page, Harvey.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, we do have a couple 9 and 9:15, but we're not ready for those yet time-wise. Discuss and act on approving the Housing Advisory Committee recommendations. This is some more projects that's in front of us. Did you all have those? Project number 1 for $34,235. Project number 4, $3,393.63. Project 15, $1,415.92.
Mr. Chairman, I did notice, it seemed like each one of these, and I believe the last ones that we did as well, are all not significant, but they're a fair bit above what the SIND estimate is. I assume that's just today's world, like you said, and everything seems to be costing more and then costing more again. But I just, that was interesting to note that it seemed like the last 4 or 5 of these that have come in, they've all been over what has been estimated.
And
The one that's 34, that max is 25, and the email I got from the gentleman said that anything over that 25, the homeowner is going to pay the difference.
Okay.
And that is explained on page 3 of this, that the owner-occupied rehab program will be paying $24,999 of the contract, and the homeowner will be paying the remaining $9,236 of the contract. But you're right, some of those has come in, the one bid was $48,000. As you see it on there compared to what they figured at 28 too, so. Those are the three in front of us this morning.
Do all that at once.
Yeah, I think we can.
Mr. Chairman, based on the recommendation from the Housing Advisory Committee, I would make a motion that we approve projects 1, 4, and 15.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Gross,
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Hoagland,
Yes.
and Overbaugh.
Yes. Okay, a couple of those items are gonna take a little bit more time, so we're gonna skip down to discuss and act on adopting resolution to approve county inventory.
That's all of this.
Right there, okay.
And everybody has to sign at the end.
And plenty of time to do that later.
Couple questions I had. One being the Benedict Patrol Shop. It's listed on there at 23,000. Do we know, is that including the new building that is currently being finished?
Probably not, that's probably what
Right.
we did last year, so yeah, we probably
Right.
have to get that.
I wonder if
get
that
from
should be.
Harvey to get that updated.
That should be, the new building should be included in that. I don't know, I mean, this is inventory at the end of last fiscal year, is that correct?
So June 30,
Mhm.
of 20.
And
so
so,
that'd be the end of this last fiscal.
right, exactly. And so the building, we're not occupied in the building yet, but it was built and we have made payments on it. And so I don't know if that
Built,
should be.
not finished. Yeah, I mean, we can add to it, but, I mean, it would be a partial,
Right.
obvious
Sure.
at that
Yep.
time.
Yep,
And we can sure come up with vigor to,
right.
to come up with that, but
Yeah, I wonder if that would be wise.
any other additions?
Would you just kind of figure out it's X% of it's done, so just whatever the bid was on it, just deduct that?
What, Harvey, wasn't we figuring about 150, where was that on the Benedict?
What we would spend already would be, I think the building, the concrete was 124,000, and that is what is done. They would then be a little bit of the plumbing in there, but that's not finished yet. The electricity is not finished or was not by the end of that date.
So we could use the 124,000.
I would use that, yes.
Okay,
Thanks.
Randy?
go ahead,
I
Jack.
have a question. Is that building being insured by the contractor yet? For loss, damage?
We have not put it on the insurance yet.
He's wondering if it's being insured by them, by the contractor. We paid for it, so we probably need to get it on
I
our,
would say we need to
our
get it
NERMA
on,
insurance
yes.
added too. Okay, any other additions to the inventory?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the inventory of York County property as of June 30, 2022, as it was presented with the addition that Daniel suggested.
Second.
Thank you, guys. Any other discussion? Roll call, please, Kelly.
Hoagland,
Yes.
Gross,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
and Overbaugh.
Yes. And we'll get that added to it, and then you wrote a note about contacting there. Okay. Okay, we are right at 9 o'clock. Make sure we get this up here. And, thank you, Harv.
You bet.
So at 9 o'clock, we will discuss an act on opening bids for purchase of a motor grader. And this was published in the News Times. Did you have it there? July 15th, 22nd, and 29th. And bids were due in at the end of last week, when we did it, or yesterday?
Monday.
Yesterday or Monday. Okay, first bid is from NMC, Nebraska Machinery. Okay, so this is for, it's gotta be a description, model 140. The overall price is $343,600 and $343,680. There is a trade allowance for the Caterpillar that we are trading in of $55,000. Guys got that figured down?
288, 680.
There's a couple highlighted items here. It's got an extended 5-year, 5,000-hour premier warranty. It's got a parts credit of $8,000. It's got, another thing that's highlighted is fan reversing, all-wheel drive, the tires, and stable blade is what is highlighted on here.
You might have got that price a little wrong.
Do I?
Yeah, because the base price is $398,680.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mine is $55.
Oh, okay, I missed that 55.
Okay, so it'd still be the.
Sorry, Travis.
343.
It'd be a heck of a deal.
340, well,
Come on.
343, 680 was
I like my
the,
job. Yeah, it was $343,680.
I went to the bottom right away.
343,680 is what the trade.
Is the trade-in price, yes.
I like the 280.
Does you a big hit.
That's too quick to write it down.
Okay, the other bid that was turned in was for Murphy. Copy. And this is for a year of 2023 John Deere 672 GP. The trade allowance, okay, the machine's price is $370,490. I'll try to get this right this time. $57,000 trade allowance. $313,490. $313,490. Okay, this one, which I did not see on the other one, this has got an October 2022 delivery date, so it's actually fairly close. Travis, was there a delivery date that I'm missing on yours?
To be determined.
To be determined, okay.
We're thinking maybe first quarter, but I have no idea.
First quarter of 2023, okay.
But that's, I mean, I just put to be determined.
Okay. Okay, so those are the two. Harvey, I assume that you want to look
If I could,
through
please.
some of this information? While Harvey's looking at that, either salesman would like to speak just a couple minutes on their equipment. They sure can right now. I know you're both here.
Go ahead. Yeah, so what, a bit of 140 all-wheel drive. This is specs said 5-year, 5,000-hour, bumper-to-bumper warranty. I put the parts credit on there, so you guys have that decision. So you use it however you see fit. If you want to extend the warranty, you can. If you want it doesn't go, doesn't expire, you can use it on any piece of machine. These graders, I think the last few you bought were the spec the exact same way, so you guys are familiar with them. And, yeah, some of the things I highlighted was just, just some extra additional things that weren't necessarily on there, on the bid, but just something we typically equipped, in the state, like stable blade. And then reversing fan is an option, but we put that on there. There are circle, top replace, top adjust shims is, it's actually an option, but we put that as standard. It's a lot easier than crawling up underneath it, adjusting shims. Besides that, do you guys have any questions for me?
Is the equipment outfitted, or can it be outfitted with GPS?
Yes.
Is that a system that is just run by Caterpillar, or is that an open market system?
It's, Murphy has Topcon. Yep. Topcon, and we have Trimble. If you wanted to make this, GPS, basically all you have to do is, it's a wiring harness and you add, ARO ready, so then it's just a plug and play, and you still have to buy the, the
Subscription or whatever?
Yeah, are you talking about Product Link or the GPS? The Product Link comes with it where you can track your machine online. GPS is where you can, I don't have a single county that puts GPS on it.
So Product Link is something that we could not necessarily track what the employee's doing, but we know where the machine has been.
Exactly.
What
Yep.
it's done and all that.
Yep.
And that comes with it?
Yep,
Or-
Harvey uses it currently, so,
Okay.
all we do is go in there and add asset, but it doesn't necessarily remember that you have access to.
Is that something that CAT has been putting on their equipment for a while
Yeah, we've had
now?
that for years.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had that access for years. It's my.cat.com, anybody can jump on there. And you just probably can just log in a password, and then any of you guys can get on there and track and fuel consumption, and all that fun stuff.
Okay.
It tracks like the speed of the machine, when a blade goes down, goes up.
Yeah,
blade goes
but
down,
it
goes
gets,
up.
you have like a basic all the way, I don't remember what kind of package you guys are signed up for, but you have a basic one that will track, fuel consumption, where it's been, and then you can get more detailed access to get pretty much anything you want.
Okay, very good.
But like I said, he probably already has access to all that,
All right.
so.
Okay. Daniel?
Just, is that recorded? Can you go back and look at it
Yes.
for 30 days or?
Yep, you can go back and look at the quote history. Yep. The only other thing I want to mention is, you probably heard the same song and dance all over and over and over again, but, we say 140 is a bigger machine. They say it's comparable, but we, horsepower, they got a little bit of horsepower on us, 250, I believe, or 255, and we're like at 252, but down in your blading grade, blading years, horsepower is so similar, third and fourth gears. Obviously when you get to eighth gear, it bumps up to that 255 or 252 horsepower.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Sorry. I know Bill has something to ask here.
Do either one of you, whether it be Cat or John Deere, have provisions to accommodate a drag?
Yes,
Or
it's-
is that available?
This is a base plus two. Base plus two means there's a valve in the front for the hydraulic front lift for your snow plow, and a valve in the back so you can hook on a drag if you wish.
Same for us.
Same for John Deere?
So standard equipment now, we put a valve in the front for a lift group, same as them, and then a valve in the back. If you go to like a Snow Plus machine up north, they would run. you
Base
can
plus
get-
four.
You can get more valves to run, like a wing or whatever other attachments you'd like to run.
Because I know I have constituents ask, why don't we use a drag again? You know?
Yeah.
Some do,
Operator,
some don't.
yeah, exactly. A lot of counties do, a lot of counties don't. I call them giant erasers, but they look nice.
Okay. Anything else, Travis? I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but if
Jay.
you want to,
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
step forward and talk about your John Deere?
yep. Jake Reba, Murphy Tractor, been here multiple times. Kind of to follow up with that, so same thing he's talking about, so we have JD Link. So we have something new with that. All John Deere construction equipment going forward, we're doing free John Deere Link for life. You don't have to pay for subscription upgrades, none of that. So moving forward, that's huge. So any construction piece, I'm not sure about the farm side, but I would guess
Yep.
they follow. But, a couple things too, extra things we have in this bid, that's huge, like we've done the last 2 years now, we have the John Deere Premium Circle. So what that is, basically, you don't have to ever shim it, you don't have to touch it, all you do is grease it every 500 hours. It's 40% faster, or stronger, 50% faster. That's what we've done on every grader we've sold for the last 2 years, we don't even sell them without now. That's kind of the future, the way things are going, a lot less downtime. Same with, we got the warranty, reversing fan lift group, the valves. Pretty apples to apples to specs for graders for all counties, so. Good news is, we got one coming down the pipe. It's gonna be here in a little over a month. It'd be ready for fall. If that one would sell, the next one still will be here this year, so we're sitting pretty good as far as delivery, so. Yes, that's pretty much it as far as that goes, if you guys have any questions.
Go ahead, Kurt.
What was the model number on your
672 GP,
6?
so that's just the grade performance package, what that is, that's the joysticks. And then you were talking about GPS, so all our machines are GPS ready, but you were talking more of like the tracking and stuff like that.
Right, yes, knowledge is power, you know, and
Yep.
the one argument that I tend to get is, you know, you haven't been here for a long time. Well, I mean, if we could go back and look at the information, it says, well, actually, you know, we were there. You know,
Oh, easy,
That
yeah.
is a handy feature that I think that the rest of the commissioners would
Well, you can
enjoy.
see too, you can see if it's at, so say you run 10 hours in a day, you can see what percentage of that was idle, what percentage they were working it, like medium or high idle too, so even if the guy ran 10 hours a day and 5 hours of it is running 1100 RPMs, well, something ain't right.
Right.
So, and then if it was ran hard, you can tell them, hey, he
Right.
was working, so.
Does yours have in there like a parts credit, or is there anything
Nope.
in that on yours?
We're all in.
Okay, okay. Daniel, do you
I
have
was
something?
just gonna ask with the JD link, that's, tracked or what, recorded,
Yep.
to go back and look later
Yes,
as well.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see, same deal, you can see gears it was ran, you can see where it was ran, what time it was ran, you can see, down to the hour of what, fuel was burning, so if it was burning 4 gallons, 5, 6, 7, whatever gallons per hour. So, that's pretty standard on equipment now, the stuff
Okay.
is, technology's moving forward.
Thank you. Anybody
Cool.
else?
Thank you.
Okay. Harv?
I'm kind of listening to what they were saying also, and going over the specs, and everybody has met it. I would recommend we go with Murphy Tractor for the 672 GP for $313,490.
Okay. Any questions of Harv?
Do you utilize, we were talking, you were in the clerk's office there for part of the discussion, the technological advantages of the tracking systems on these vehicles. Do you utilize those in your office at all?
Some.
Some, okay.
And that's a login, Harv?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And we can talk about that in the future, but any questions about the machine?
Mr. Chairman, I would,
Can we, as far as payment, you know, this is coming here pretty quick.
yeah.
And in this, where we're talking about budget today, I would like to define.
Where it's coming from?
Please, if we could.
Would Inheritance Tax Fund?
I think that'd be an excellent spot for it.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to accept the Highway Superintendent's recommendation to purchase the motor grader from Murphy Tractor for a price of trade-in of $313,490 to come out of the Inheritance Tax Fund.
Thank you, Kurt.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I just, thinking through this, I think that if we're gonna make this purchase, I think that taking it this time out of inheritance, I think is a wise move. Knowing where we're at with the budget, I know that we've been, this has kind of been the practice to do one motor grader each year. With prices of where everything's at, everything's elevated, does it make sense to hold back a year? Does it not make, I mean, I know that we've got a backlog of some older equipment, so it probably makes sense to continue on, but I felt that I should bring it up to just ask. I know Harvey has a piece that he's you know, the one that he put on here for trade. You know, it's been a good machine, but we're ready to upgrade it. And so, yeah, if we're gonna upgrade it this year, taking it out of inheritance, I think is wise because of where we're at in the budget. I just wanted to bring that up for discussion.
Sure. And I think we should stay on schedule with replacing equipment. We do have the, you know, if we want to call it our rainy day fund, you know, the inheritance, and with the price of everything, but I don't think we're gonna see the prices necessarily.
Sure, you're right.
We're seeing some trickling down on fuel, but I don't know that the equipment's gonna, to come down, so. And we'll get into more of the budget discussion here yet this morning.
Sure.
But we have to find some areas to lessen the impact
Yep.
on the budget this year, so I think it's a good idea to do that. It was either gonna be that or ARPA, and I think we'll have some good ideas for ARPA too as we
Sure.
just go forward also, but I understand where you're coming from too, Daniel. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
And I get those concerns too, and I think part of the reason for doing this now was because the supply chain issue as well. We just
Not
weren't
sure.
sure
Right.
when something would become available, so they were trying to get out in front of that. How old's our oldest machine? Motor grader.
Somewhere around 2006.
Okay,
And I think we have, this is a 2006 that we're trading in, and we have another one that is the same age. Then the next one is maybe a year or two, one side or other of that, as I recall.
okay,
So it's either a 7 or a 5, and I don't remember.
because we don't have the Fab Five anymore, right?
Oh, yes, we do.
Do we have those yet?
Oh, yes, we do.
The hoodwink,
We have part of those.
parts of them.
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Holgren,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Launsberger,
No.
Groats,
Yes.
and Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. We're just a little bit late for Carbon Solutions with Rob, but we'll ask him to come forward now at this point in time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a handout with some materials for all the.
Thank you.
And then when you do get seated, Rob will have your name and address, please, for the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Robert Latimer. I'm from Elkhorn, Nebraska. I'm here representing Summit Carbon Solutions. And I have with me our Nebraska State Relationship Manager, Ben Fuller. Indeed, a little state of deja vu for me. I think it's been 6 or 7 years since I was in front of the York County Commissioners representing another client, another project. I now work for myself, and I have a variety of different clients, including Summit Carbon Solutions, doing a variety of different work on land and stakeholder relations on different projects in Nebraska. Happy to be here today on a day when I woke up and I actually had to use my defrost on my windshield with the fog in Omaha. It was, just kind of nice to have a little cooler. So enjoyed the drive out this morning. You have a package of information in front of you that has 4 handouts. 2 are maps, one of the state of Nebraska, with the Summit Carbon Solution carbon dioxide pipeline system shown on it, with a total of 318 miles. You have a map of York County that shows 18.69 miles of 4-inch pipeline on it. You have a fact sheet specific to York County describing some of the investment in York County totaling $43 million of facilities and an estimated annual property tax of about $964,000 upon the assets going into operation. And then you have a fact sheet for the state of Nebraska with some similar information on voluntary easement, miles acquired, anticipated start date of August 2023 for construction, and an overview of the pipeline system and the product and so on. The purpose of our presentation today is just to simply keep you as commissioners and the public informed of the status of the project. Again, talking about a construction start date of August 2023, land acquisition work to obtain easements continues on. In the state of Nebraska, we have about 108 miles of the total 318 some miles acquired. Do we have everyone? No. Do we have a substantial amount of easements acquired? Yes, and that work continues every single day. Surveying work does continue. It was referenced that the surveyors were chopping holes in the county roads. Essentially, they're uncovering existing monuments to do accurate boundary surveys. It's an important part of the survey process, so that work does continue. There was a comment made about a letter sent to landowners threatening eminent domain. That is not a Summit Carbon Solutions letter. We'd be happy to have a look at that letter. We don't subscribe to that type of approach as Summit Carbon Solutions. The work of obtaining voluntary easements is hard work, and it continues every day and will continue until the start of the project. Summit Carbon Solutions, the real core of this project is to make existing ethanol plants that are an important part of the economy in the Midwest, to make them economically secure as they go forward to the product that they produce, the renewable fuel, ensure that that brings a premium price, and by removing the carbon dioxide that's processed in that operation and putting it in a pipeline, and in this case in York County, it's a 4-inch pipeline, not a huge pipeline, 4-inch pipeline, taking that away, gathering that, and putting it into a larger pipeline system where that carbon dioxide goes to North Dakota, north of Bismarck, and is sequestered in rock formations forever, essentially. And that, removing that carbon dioxide adds value to the renewable fuel, the ethanol produced, and ensures that that industry continues on to be a viable part of the economy in the Midwest. Ben is a real key individual here in the state of Nebraska, working with your county planning and zoning officials, your road department officials, and so on, to ensure that we have obtained all the right permits, and that process is in mid-flight right now, collecting all that information and submitting it. I welcome your questions this morning, Commissioners.
Does anybody have any of Rob or Ben this morning? When you talk about a start point, or a starting date, I should say, of the project, is there a start point? Meaning, I'm looking at a map of Nebraska, and you know, I'm seeing Green Plains, I mean, is there a point where, or are you gonna start from different aspects, or is there
different aspects? They haven't split up the spreads yet. They're gonna have multiple construction crews going at the time. So
Okay.
It's not like from north to south or whatnot.
So it's not like, say, we're starting in York as ground zero and then going from there. It could be York, it could be Central City, it could
Yeah,
be different.
Mr. Chairman, the detailed construction plans, and they will be detailed, have not been tightened up to that point yet to know where to start. But you will be kept in the loop. Every quarter, we'll try and come here and give you a little update on here's where we're at with where we think we're gonna start. We just don't have that type of information today.
And this is just a question, looking for knowledge. There's obviously, different size of pipe throughout this project. Ours through York County appears to be, according to your map, the smallest size.
Yes.
Is there a point where the diameter of the pipe is not regulated by the state? Meaning, we have 4-inch pipe. Is it always regulated by the state? Is 1 inch? I mean, is there a point that the size of that pipe is no longer regulated? Or it's smaller than what, you see where I'm going with that?
Yes, so in Nebraska, the Nebraska Public Service Commission
Right.
regulates a variety of different pipeline systems, natural gas, and of course you're aware of the major oil pipeline system siting act. But this facility, and we can confirm and get back to you, this facility is not regulated by the Nebraska Public Service Commission.
Okay, and you can confirm that and get back to us on that?
We will get back to you because we want to make sure you have the right.
Okay.
I'm not an expert on the Nebraska Public Service Commission, but I could tell you all about another project that I'm pretty familiar with, but that's not why we're here today.
Right. Any other commission?
Yeah, I just have a question, and your map here from Great Plains to Central City here, that's a pretty straight line. How many of those farmers, those landowners have given permission for you to be on their property, to target their property? And have they been contacted individually as to whether they are going to accept your offer? You said you had like 130 some.
Yeah.
That's about a third of the percentage that you were talking
Yeah,
about.
Commissioner, in York County, the mileage that we've acquired through easements, 2.66 miles of 18.69. So we haven't acquired all the mileage. The amount of survey permission, I don't have that figure in front of me, but where we have survey permission, those land, we would be out doing the survey work. Now, having survey permission doesn't necessarily mean having acquired the easement.
Well, I was at the county fair here just this couple of days ago, and there was quite a few people questioning the fact that they were coming on their property, targeting their property for GPS or whatever they were doing without getting permission to even be on their property, which is trespassing, you know that.
Right.
So I'm just curious, because that straight line going from Great Plains over there makes people believe that that's going to be the path. And if you've only got a portion of that approved or even contacted, I don't know how you can put out it sounds real good, but it doesn't really act out that way.
Correct. The routing process for any linear project, be it a power line or a pipeline, is one that takes a lot of back and forth with landowners. And Ben here, we were talking to another county, and we talked about the number of route changes.
Over 3,000.
Yeah, in 5 states, we've gone through 3,000 route changes to adjust, where we have feedback from landowners to adjust the route around something, and the route has moved a little bit. Now, at a certain point, you need to really tighten things up and develop a firmer plan. This route will be tweaked a little bit, yes.
Yeah, well, I guess I have a problem with the eminent domain thing, because that's private property, and unless it's for the public benefit, not a private enterprise, then I really have a problem with that, and I hope the judges that you go in front of have the same problem.
Right. Eminent domain is something that's treated very seriously. It's a process that only as a last resort. It's a process sometimes you need to use to cure title issues as well. But absolutely, it's something that you have to take very seriously, and Summit is prepared to go the extra mile to get voluntary easements in place.
Okay.
Other question?
Bill?
I have one. Some of us in here remember the nightmares of Keystone XL pipe.
Yeah, I understand that.
When they were acquiring easements, they were actually paying property owners up front,
Yes,
enticing them to sign these easements.
yes.
Is that something that Carbon Solutions is doing also?
So Ben has a little bit of experience on the land side. Do you want to give him the?
Sure, they are paying the easement as well as full damages,
Up front.
240%, yes.
And say something, I remember when the Keystone was done with, the money that they had paid was still retained by that property owner. Is that the same way you were operating in this situation?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Daniel?
Just one question, kind of, going off of what has already been asked regarding route. What, when you take a map and you look at it and you're gonna propose a project, how do you come up with a route? What goes into finding a route?
Yeah, great question, Daniel. So that at the highest level, it's one ethanol plant to the next connecting point from that other plant, and then taking, you can see by the state map that generally, so the Green Plains York connects over to the Green Plains in Central City, and then it heads to Lewis Dreyfus in Norfolk, you know, and so on. So it's at the highest level, A to B, but then you have to work with environmental constraints to minimize the number of water course crossings, road crossings. You take the landowner feedback around roading and land use, land types. And so it's a real kind of iterative type process of refining and continue to be refined until you get it really, really narrowed down. It takes time.
Sure.
Summit has been working at this for about a year. They're not planning to construct until August of 2023, and that work will continue until construction. So it's complicated. There's a team of hundreds of people working on this, engineering, environmental people. Yes, you have land people in the field. You got a couple of us giving updates and so on. Yeah.
Sure. And so, like between here and Central City, there's a number of public right-of-ways. Why do you cut straight across and not follow public right-of-ways?
Oh, like parallel inside the public right-of-way?
Right, exactly. Like run through road ditches and in the bottom of road ditches and stuff like that.
It's been my experience that typically county entities, state highway departments, they're not keen to see parallel encroachments. Perhaps a fiber line, a phone line is okay, but when you start constructing a 4-inch, 8-inch, etc. Pipeline in the county road right away, that and if the road was going to be expanded, then you have to deal with that. So it's typically, again, the direction A to B, straight line, and then factor in all the constraints and the road.
So would you say it's easier to go through private property than it is to go through public property?
Not necessarily. You know, county entities are pretty decent to work with. State entities, same. As long as you adhere to their expectations of 90-degree crossing, no parallel encroachments, and so Does that answer your question?
Somewhat.
Somewhat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people ask what the concrete is running in the middle of the concrete, running in the middle of the interstate. And until just recently.
Oh, is that, are you talking just because I've noticed it as well here.
Yeah, well, I know what it is now,
Yeah,
but there were a
and
lot
so-
of people that weren't quite aware of it. And then, you know, you keep talking about you can't go
Right.
through the ditches or whatever.
Right.
But they're running that through there, and that's for basically for safety precautions, for people crossing the line and hit head on. That's what it is, but I mean, they're evidently doing it, so they can do that with other projects too.
Right.
I have one more question, and I don't mean to be picking on you.
No,
But if you say you want to start date of August of 23,
that's
to say
target.
you don't get all your easements, you're gonna go into litigation. And I know kind of how the courts operate. I don't see how this could begin in August of 23.
Commissioner, you need to fix the start date. You need to work towards that. You need to be flexible and adjust. You need to work through the issues. It's hard work.
I understand.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying.
yeah.
Any other questions this morning? Okay, just a little bit of information on your part. Mr. Johnson is in the room with us this morning. He is our new deputy county attorney here in York County. He is also our zoning administrator. That position was changed just about a month ago, so he will be handling this. We will be reviewing all of the haul route agreements. We will be reviewing our zoning in the coming months, and not just on this project, but across the whole county. So that will be the contact person for that as we go forward. And we hope that will take place fairly smoothly. So other than that, if we don't have anything else,
We would, Mr. Chairman, we would plan to come on generally a quarterly basis, give you
That's fine.
short updates.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we roughly got 20 minutes before the Board of Equalization. We need to discuss and act on setting wages for our deputy county clerk, deputy county assessor, deputy county treasurer, deputy county clerk of the district court, deputy county attorney, and deputy county public defender.
Some recommendations of that.
The only two we got turned in.
You too, Rob. Yeah, exactly.
And those they had online.
Hold on. Mr. Chairman, is that correct on that second part to the deputy salary? It says 21 to 32. You meant 21 to 22, correct? That's what it shows on my screen here.
Discuss and act on setting wages for deputies. We don't have a date on the.
No,
No,
it's for year 21. 20.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing is the resolution number.
Oh, okay.
That was
Sorry.
last year's
right.
I
resolution,
gave you
21
last
dash
year's,
All
I
right.
gave you this
I got
year's.
it. My mistake.
They don't happen very often, Bill.
Oh, it does all the time.
Okay, we do have two recommendations. One from the clerk, the York County clerk, is to give Mary Melby a $2 an hour raise. And one from Megan Williams, who's acting as the deputy treasurer right now, and acting as the treasurer, to give a $2 an hour raise. That is the request. We also have the, information in our budgets to go by also.
What's the
And-
budget committee, what's their recommendation after looking at this fact?
Well, I'm wondering if we should talk a little bit about the budgets first.
Mhm.
and kind of go from there. You know, as you got the information from Jill,
Right.
detailing, get the spreadsheet. I think she had 2 or 3 different spreadsheets on there. The one took it by fund and the other took it by department of increases. And then she had, yesterday afternoon, she had also sent me, and I did forward this on to the budget committee. These are preliminary estimates, very preliminary, because she was using, you know, obviously we don't have our valuation, we won't have our certified valuation till 20th, I think, is when they get certified of this month. But she used last year's valuation, and you used last year's lid exemption, and then we did have the extra 1% this year. And currently, right now, we were looking at a $1.7 million shortfall in what our lid will allow us to do of all the budget requests. Now, the budget committee just turned in the requests. We didn't do anything to the budgets. We just turned in the request. So as you can see that we have in our restricted funds, we have $1.7 million somewhere we're gonna have to do away with. I mean, our lid will keep us from doing anything. Now, we could, option one would be, we could take unrestricted funds, inheritance, ARPA to some extent, and we could just make everything work. But that just kicks the can down the road too. Because if this budget stays up there, we're just putting off the inevitable for a year or maybe 2, because we won't be able to sustain that type of drawdown from, well, obviously ARPA's gonna go away, inheritance will go away too if we do that type of drawdown. So we have to find some kind of cut someplace, you know, in those budget numbers.
Have you looked at supplementing, like maybe a percentage of that with unrestricted?
Like what we just did today.
Right.
Right. You know,
It'd be, of course, that's just a Band-Aid
Right.
for the future, you know, but still a little bit would help.
right, right. So it will help to alleviate some of the problem, but it doesn't take it away.
That's right.
And so, and we have some, like I say, as we've seen, there were some department increases that were close to 40%, or maybe one was even over 40%. And, you know, that's probably not sustainable. So we've got a choice to make of where do we want to put our importance this year? Is it retention and wages? You know, and getting the best wages we can, because we know the material costs are going to be up. We know fuel's up, we know products are up, and we're just going to have to pay those extra costs. So, and then there's, in a couple of the budgets, there is extra employees. So do we put more emphasis on retention and raises, or do we put, okay, we can't go quite that much on raises, but we want to have more employees? We're going to have to me, we're going to have to make a decision where we're at. Now, I know that, for instance, I just seen on the news today, we hadn't even talked about this, you know, the sheriff and myself talked a week or so ago, but now LPD announced in their budget process, they will be the highest paid police officers in the state of Nebraska. Once again, just one more piece of pressure that's going to trickle down to York County and the city of York alike, because if they're making that much more money there, you know, it's going to happen. So, and I didn't see what the wages were. I don't know, Paul, did you happen to see what they were?
$7 to $9 an hour.
Is what they were recommending for raises? Because I know it was 8 to 10% is what they were talking about. So that's kind of why I wanted to have the budget workshop on today's agenda, so we could start talking about what are we going to do to figure out this lid, and before it all hits on the next one, and where do we go? What? Go ahead.
You made a comment when you first started talking about using inheritance fund and ARPA funds to a certain extent.
Unrestricted, right.
Unrestricted. I got a question to ask. How does the ARPA funds affect our budget? Because it's not part of the tax base. I got a message here from Omaha, the newspaper, where the Omaha City Council employees have granted $3,000 in premium pay for working during the coronavirus pandemic. They had received $112 million in ARPA funds, and I know that they've got a whole lot more employees than we've got. And they chose to give their employees, the full-time employees, $3,000, and part-time employees that worked during that time, $1,500, unrestricted, and that's from ARPA, that's not from their budget.
Right.
So that, I just was curious as to how that ARPA, how we distribute those ARPA funds affects our budget. Because if you're talking about using inheritance funds that aren't restricted and calling ARPA funds unrestricted.
For the most part, they're unrestricted.
For
There
the most
are a
part.
few restrictions.
But
yes.
this obviously with granting the premium pay has been accepted by many
Right,
departments in this state.
right.
And I hate to beat a dead horse
Well,
again.
one comment I'll have on that is, this board already talked about that,
Yes, we have.
and this board made a decision,
Yes, we have.
and we should honor the decision of this board. By bringing it up continually, you're not honoring the decision of the board. Whether it went your way or not, that's what the board decided.
I understand that, but you know, the federal government brings up, and the state legislature brings up the same questions about different things all the time. Just because they made a decision once, don't mean they're gonna stick with that same decision forever. You know, we keep talking about setting precedents. Every year is a different precedent.
And we
I've said enough.
Yeah, okay. So how it affects our budget is, we can take unrestricted funds and we can pay for things that are in the restricted area. So the clerk's budget is restricted, the attorney's budget is restricted, these are restricted funds. Once we give them their money, it's for their stuff. So we can, in a sense like we did today, when we buy that motor grader with unrestricted funds, that alleviates Harvey's budget by 300 and some thousand. Well, in his budget request, he was almost 800,000 up over last year. So there's one little way we can use that. Now, another tool we may be able to use on his, I'm not sure what Harvey used for fuel prices, but fuel prices have trickled down just a little bit, and maybe there's a little bit of area in there we can cut on that also. On Harv's.
Isn't it funny that the Biden administration or whoever's involved in that, they can drop the price of gas a penny or 2 pennies from a catastrophic high that we've never seen before, and that makes everybody happy. When at the time that they took office, it was like $1.97, and now it's $3.66 here in New York, and everybody's happy because it dropped 30 cents. That doesn't make sense to me.
Mr. Chairman?
Go
I
ahead.
have one question. How many department heads or elected officials are asking for more employees? And do they have facts to back them up? And then what is that dollar amount that would cost?
I don't know that I can give you an answer to the dollar amount, because when it's in clerical, for instance, they're gonna have more than one clerical in there. I do know that as you look through the budget, which I assume everybody has, there was 4 that I'm aware of. There was the treasurers, the assessors, the clerks, and the county attorney's office.
Well, that's not gonna have a big bearing on 1.5 million. But it would have some.
It's gonna have some, yeah. And those are things that, as we expand, don't go away. They are there year after year after year. Yeah. So I can't give you the dollar amount, but I would say that as we look at what we're paying our employees, and then when you start talking about the benefits also, you're with 4 of them, you're probably in the $200,000 to $300,000 area.
About a penny on the levy, what it amounts to.
like I say, we got to find those areas.
Mr. Chairman, do these deputy wages need to be set today? Can they be set at the next meeting?
Kelly, do you have an answer for that? I don't have an
The-
answer.
the
I know this
reason-
is one we've always done, it,
Sure.
the wages.
And the reason I ask is because I can tell that we need to get something figured out with the budget before we probably make a final decision on wages. So are we putting the cart before the horse here, talking about these wages before we do something with the budget workshop?
Yes, I think you can set them these wages go in effect the first pay period in October.
Okay, so we have a little time yet.
And this is just when they've always been on the agenda.
Sure.
Yes, because same as setting the wages for the county employees.
I think you have to set them, so you know what the budget's.
Right.
Right.
We basically ought to table both items that are on the agenda today.
What's
Setting the wages for the employees.
Like for roads and,
Oh, the other wages too, sure.
It goes hand in hand.
Well, I kind of agree with Bill too. What are the justifications for some of the positions? And Randy, you and I have had conversations, and I helped with one of the, put together one of the budgets that's in our packet here today. Are we budgeting for new positions? Are we budgeting for wage increases? Are we budgeting for both? Are we budgeting for new positions in order to kind of cushion wage increases? So I'm wondering, is there room there for cutting as well? And then, we're not going to decide anything formally today, but if there are any documents that the budget committee received as far as, here's reasons for the increase in my budget. If you did have those, that would be beneficial, I think,
Sure.
for the rest of us to have when we're going through some of the budget proposals. And I've created one myself, it's not done yet. But, and I don't know if you guys get those, did you get those with the, okay.
No, other than just conversations.
Gotcha.
You know, which we would have to expand on those conversations.
But I think as you're putting a budget, not you specifically, but as an official's putting a budget together, they've got it on paper why they need to do certain things. So I don't think it'd be too much to ask for those officials to put down on paper, you know, here's how I can justify this proposal.
Okay.
But I think we still need to go through that workshop today yet too, just to have that discussion.
Any other discussion regarding wages? Is it everybody's wishes to postpone wages for a couple weeks, or do we want to postpone deputies and work on county employees' wages? We do have recommendations in for the county employees' wages. And those would be from the elected officials and department heads and the people that oversee.
I think we can go ahead with them, don't you think?
That would give us a direction for,
For the other one.
for the,
Correct.
yes, for the overall budgets. Sound good? So for the time being then, let's postpone any action on the deputies' wages until the next meeting of the, what is it, the 23rd?
Make that a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Lonsberg.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
Brooks.
yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
And Overbaugh.
Yes. Okay. And for the discuss and act on setting the wages of county employees, which we do have in front of us, I know that there was some conversation that I did have with the sheriff's department. Paul, put you on the spot here a little bit. The dollar figure that we were looking at for corrections and for officers was in the $3-4 an hour areas. That's what was put in,
Yeah, for the correctional officers. Yeah.
correctional officers. And in light of recent things that have happened, would there be a different request that would be put in that we visit about, raising that to a 5 for correction and officers both? Okay. So there would be a change from what we've seen in what was proposed there. And basically, that is the pressure that's being put on by other entities around us that are paying even more than that. And there is obviously pilfering of employees that's going on or trying to happen. And it wasn't that many years ago, we was ahead of the game on that, and we're no longer ahead of the game
Well, a
anymore.
year ago, we were probably slated as one of the top paying agencies in the area, other than like the bigger cities, but now we've fallen short. So that's happened in the last 6 months.
Well, I mean, the county assessor and I have had conversations about employees and where you start an employee out at. And gosh, I don't know if you get anyone to bite if you're even at 18 an hour. It's tough to get people to even want to apply to them.
Right. So that would be a change there. We do have all the other recommendations that are in front of us. Harv, you went through evaluation process and you put in, and they all received across the board earlier this year the $1.50. Is that kind of the average again? I know that at the time that's what you was talking about. Is that kind of the average again?
Actually, what I had put in was $1 for the most part.
Okay.
There was some of them that would move to foreman that would get more than that.
Okay. So everything with yours is
Basically $1, but you can feel free to raise that.
okay. Thank you for that.
And would encourage that.
Now, I will add that I have got, personally, I've got Leela's here and there. Hers is at 0. Currently, she makes $65,000. As somebody did the eval on her, I will be recommending that she get similar to what we gave the elected officials this last year, which will be $2,500. So that would raise her to $67,500. I also have Cal's, and I'm not sure Cal, yeah, and I would recommend taking Cal to $25 an hour. And I also have Bob Sodders, and I would recommend taking Bob to $24.25 an hour. And those are both right at $2 an hour raises, which seem to be kind of the trend. Do we see any else on there that we're missing?
We need
Nick.
Harvey, Mitch, and Nick. And then Cliff Powers.
Do we have, go ahead.
Question here, these that we're looking at here, these are supervised by the people, some of the people you just talked about. We're not tinkering with these, are we? We leave that up to the department heads to.
No, these are the salaries you guys have
These
to
are only
set.
salaries we set. The elected officials set their own.
Yeah.
Right, but like with all the road department employees,
Right,
we have to formally just approve those then?
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
Mr. Chairman, I think if we want to stay in compliance with the department heads, I think we need to go basically the 2,500 straight across, just like we did with the elected officials. Whether it be Harvey, Mitch, Cal, Nick.
Okay, So for all those, you would recommend?
Problem we're running into, we can't retain employees.
I understand.
You know, and we talked about one other thing this morning, early, Daniel. As far as our handbook, we're gonna have to go back and redo that thing at some point. When we're losing people to Bear, whoever, and they're offering a 1-week vacation after 30 days of employment, and we have 1 full year of employment before you get any vacation. I think we're really gonna have to take a hard look at that, because we can't continue to lose employees. We're just gonna have to pay, that's all it's doing. And I don't know what we're gonna do for budget-wise. We've gotta retain the employees we have.
I agree, but it's hard for a small county like York County to play ball with a company like Bear or Corteva or these international companies. I mean, we just can't,
I understand.
play with them. They don't play fair in a sense.
Right.
Um,
Well, one thing to look at is our benefit package that we offer.
Right.
And there's another aspect of, what we offer our employees, insurance and all that. Maybe that's something that could alleviate some of this wage discussion too.
Okay, at this time, Ann, do you have your information with you? It is 10 o'clock, we have Board of Equalization. We are going to recess currently as Board of Commissioners. We will do the Board of Equalization, and then we will come back and have some more fun talks. So at this time, we need to convene as a Board of Equalization. Roll call, please.
Gross.
Present.
Holgren.
Present.
Fonsberger.
Present.
Sykes.
Present.
And Obenauer.
Present. Open meetings law is posted on the south side of our chambers, on the wall outside of our chamber, is also on the website. Proof of publication was on our website, also on the newspaper, August 4th. Review and approve the minutes of the July 26th Board of Equalization.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Bill.
Second.
Thank you, Daniel. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Fonsberger.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Obenauer.
Yes. Adopt today's agenda.
So move.
Thank you, Kurt.
Second.
Thank you, Jack. Any discussion? Roll call.
Holgren.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Fonsberger.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Obenauer.
Yes. Okay, Ann, we have number 51 and number 52 in front of us.
Correction number 51 is a homestead correction. This gentleman had an increase in his income for 2019. So instead of receiving 100% exemption, he only receives, he received 20%. So he owes $238.88 for the 2019 taxable amount.
Okay.
Over and above the homestead. Correction number 52 is a mobile home that was sold and the taxes paid for 22 of $658.82. Now it'll go back onto the tax roll for 23 with the new owner.
Okay. Any questions of Ann this morning?
Motion to approve correction number 51 and 52 as presented by the county assessor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Fonsberger.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Obenauer.
Yes. Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Ann.
You betcha.
Okay, we will adjourn as Board of Equalization. We'll reconvene as the Board of Commissioners. Thank you, Ann. Okay, we also do not have, Nick did not apparently turn in one for Rochelle. And I'm seeing that down here now, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to recommend 50 cents for Mr. Powers
Okay,
and Michelle. Go ahead. Yeah.
I think she should get the $2 that others are getting, Michelle.
okay. Nick,
Yes, sir.
thanks for coming in right at the right time. Did you have a recommendation for Rochelle? I mean, one was just presented as $2.
My thing about it is if everybody else is gonna go up, I mean, I just made my budget on a percentage,
Okay,
and I'd like that to go up if, I mean, she deserves just as much as everybody else in this court,
Okay.
or this courthouse.
well, it was just at 2, so. It
What's
was
that?
just recommended to go $2.
I'd be happy with that,
All right.
definitely, because I think I had her roughly at $1, so $2, and I'd be fair with that.
Okay. Okay, Bill, back to the department heads. You're recommending just
Same as
25?
what we're doing for elected officials.
Okay. For,
Oh, wait. Nick, go ahead.
Speak for Harvey, for Nick, for Mitch, Cal,
Leila,
Leila. Yep. Lori, we take care of Lori,
yes? And Bob.
and Bob.
So not your recommendations, but the,
That's what he's recommending. I had a recommendation of my own, so, I mean, that's fine. We'll decide.
Yeah, right.
Anything else that we want to talk about? On the wages?
And so at this point, we're deferring to the department heads and what they have recommended for their
Yes,
direct reports.
yes. Okay, let's take all the employees minus the department heads right now. So this would be all the roads department employees, this would be Lori's employees, Nick's employee, this would be Cal's employee. Those are all done and in front of us.
so it'd be the road, communications, extension,
Right.
aging, maintenance, emergency management.
And those are all in front of us
Yep.
on that.
And what's been presented online is what is their recommended
Right,
wage increase. I would move to approve that, Mr. Chairman.
okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bill. Is there any other discussion regarding the employees?
No,
Not by you.
not by me.
No.
Roll call, please.
Fulgren,
Yes.
Salzberg,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes,
Crotz,
Yes.
and Overmeyer.
Yes. Now, department heads. We've got a recommendation, and I had a recommendation. The difference would be a little bit of wage. I understand where Bill's coming from, kind of make it fair across the board. I mean, I will defer to that. I mean, I have no problem with that. I was going with what was kind of the trend. I was trying to keep pace for sure with our maintenance, trying to keep pace with what we're paying other people that maybe don't have the responsibility and the on-call duties that he has. And that changes it just a little bit on his behalf. I don't know if we did the reviews. I assume we did the reviews on all the other ones, on Lori, on a Mitch, and on Harv and stuff like that. So I will defer to what they say on that, but anybody else have any thoughts on those? What's being recommended is 2,500, same as we gave the elected officials.
Did you have a counter, Mr. Chairman?
When we look at an hourly wage, and when we look at responsibility, it's kind of hard to lump them all in the same box.
Right. I would agree with that.
You know, I mean, when we have somebody that, we have a department that has 30-plus employees, but then we have an department that has, extra duties certain times a year, I'm picking on you, elections, and we have another department that's in the call center that gets called in, and we have a department, maintenance, with one guy or two people that, when things shut down over the weekends, gets called in. It's only two people, but yet on call 365 days essentially a year, so I mean, it's hard to, it's hard to make them all equal in my mind. I mean, they all have their tough times, they all have their easy times. And if we go by percentage, then obviously the highest paid keeps outpacing everybody else.
Percentage don't work.
It doesn't, I don't think that that's a fair way to do it either. I'm just trying to get, figure out how we get it, to par. I do agree that, the elected officials, we know what they're getting paid. We went through that conversation and argument, and we set it at that, so I guess fair is fair there, and 2,500 is what we thought they should get every year for the next 4 years, which is a $10,000 raise in 4 years' time. Then if we're gonna make that decision this year, do we keep going with that one like we treated them for the 4 years?
Right.
I mean, is that kind of what we're going with?
I don't see that that's sustainable to, like, at this point, to agree that these department heads get a 2,500 over the next, I don't, I mean, I guess, and a point I would make, we set a pretty good increase. Some employees got a very good increase just recently. I don't think that should, how do I wanna say this? I don't want anybody feeling that that's gonna be the norm. Maybe it has to be, but I don't know that next year, I mean, and in currently, the economy that we're in is crazy. It could be as crazy the other way next year. And so I don't want people just feeling that, well, because I got this good raise this year, I'm gonna get another great raise next year. I don't think that I don't wanna be having that
Right.
commitment at this point. So at the same time, I don't think that we can commit to 2,500 for all the department heads today and then next
Right.
year and the next year, et cetera, et cetera.
We are just talking about 22, 23.
And Daniel, when I said that, the 2,500.
Right.
I meant that just for this year.
Right, exactly.
We've
Yep.
seen some extreme difficult
Yep.
situations.
Yep.
I mean, we're looking at fuel and groceries, and it just goes on and on.
Right.
We still have effects of the COVID. I didn't mean it
Sure.
to go on.
Right.
So
Yep.
I still think it'd be a good shot in the arm for the employees to go with the 2,500.
We still have a COLA raise involved in this every year, don't we? Cost of living?
No, this is just it. This is just the raises.
If we use that now, according to Mr. Talbot's numbers, we're looking at 10 to
10 to
11.4%.
Mm.
We can't absorb that at all.
Right.
You wanna,
Well, yeah, I'm just, I can sympathize with the 2,500 across the board. I think that's fine for most positions. You're advocating for a little bit more in a couple situations, is that correct?
I was trying to get maintenance to 25.
Yep. And, I mean, yeah, I think that, it's a,
And I
can't be
don't,
without maintenance.
and I don't know, and this is the hard part about this discussion. I don't know that somebody that has 30-plus employees if 25 is enough.
Right, sure.
Because,
Yep.
I mean, I can see I can see both sides of the argument, the fairness right across the board, but then is the duties the same?
Right, correct.
Be careful of that fairness word.
I know
I'm
it.
not careful for that word at all. Fair. It's a four-letter word in my house.
Okay. At the risk of causing trouble and using naughty words. I'll entertain a motion for whatever we have going forward. I know that Harv, unless I'm seeing this wrong, would you entertain more for your employees than for yourself to try to make life better for you?
Absolutely.
And I think any normal person would say that. I'm not just trying to single you out, but I think anybody values their employees would say that, and I appreciate you saying that now, too. So,
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
you can, Ann, just make sure that everybody can hear it.
All right, if you're going to pay across the board $2,500, that's only like, what, $1.40 an hour increase? Is that right? Yeah.
$1.20.
Yeah, all right, $1.20 an increase.
Okay, you did the math, thank you.
And I don't know what you're moving from to $25, but you want to remember the maintenance man does a lot of things that are not just maintenance. So you are correct in saying that some people probably deserve maybe more for the work that they do than those that maybe don't have as many responsibilities. We all have a responsibility, we all do, but some of us have more than others.
Thank you, Ann. And I'm guessing about this time Cal's probably wanting to leave the room.
Well,
Did you have a question,
that's
Ann, or just a
an example.
Okay, thank you. You didn't have a question, you just had a comment?
No, I just had a thought.
Okay, thank you. These are always the fun meetings, aren't they?
Oh, we gotta single them out. We talked about those as basically on call anytime, 24 hours. We have call center, roads, maintenance are probably the most needed, correct?
Everything is there.
Well,
As far as ones that have duties outside or on-call responsibilities outside a traditional
Right.
work day, right?
And I don't mean to shoot at anybody else either, you know?
Right.
I'm looking at what I see.
Yep.
What was the recommendation from, I assume you did Harv's. Did you have a recommendation?
2,500.
That was the recommendation. Even before today, that was the recommendation, was 2,500. Okay, thank you. And that's what I had said about Leela's too, and had conferred with her before she took off on vacation also. I had recommended 2 for Cal to get him to 25.
I have no problem with those 3. The others, the 2. Is that
I'm sorry.
Say that again.
Clarity.
those are the most critical ones that we're looking at now as far as on-call. Go with 2,500 there and go 2 on the rest.
And when you're saying 2,000?
Yes. No matter which way you do it, you're gonna get shot at.
And then, so going back on cows would be a $2 an hour
No, I think he's saying 2,500
Doing 2,500 on Cal.
on Cal, 2,500 on Harv, 2,500 on Leela. Am I hearing you correctly? And then all the other at 2, is what I'm hearing you say.
Correct.
Any discussion on that? Any thoughts?
I'll make that a motion.
I'll second that, same discussion purposes.
Moved and seconded that, do you have those
Yep.
all scribbled in there in the right area? More discussion.
I guess I'm on board with all of that, other than I'm going back to, maintenance. Do we want to raise that one just a little bit and go above the 2,500? You had mentioned $25 an hour, which was a $2 an hour raise.
Right.
The 2,500, let's see, where does that put us?
If you figure that 2,080 hours a year at 40
So that would, yeah.
well, that's only bringing it up to 120 then.
$1.20. That's what was, yeah, stated
Right.
before, right.
And you recommended
Which puts that position
for
at,
Cal?
at,
2 for
I have those
maintenance, is that
figures
what you
in-
recommended, Mr. Chairman?
that's what I had, yes.
I'm fine with that.
Well, we're not gonna amend the motion.
Pardon me?
We're not gonna amend the
Can
motion.
you clarify what the motion was, so we are all
We
on
have
the
a
same
motion
page?
right
Yeah.
now on the table that had 3 department heads at 2,500 and had all the other department heads at 2,000, correct?
Yes.
And the 3 department heads was Cal, Leela, and Harvey. And all the other department heads, Lori, Nick, Mitch, who am I forgetting?
Bob.
Bob, at 2,000. I admit, Nick, yeah, so 4.
Thank you.
Were you wanting the motion to be rescinded so that we could?
No, we're gonna work through it here. Is there any discussion? Because it could get voted down.
Do you, before we vote on it,
If you want to amend the motion, you can.
Yeah.
We got the amendment under control.
no, I'm just trying to,
I'm sorry.
see what our, I mean, I guess I'm fine either way, and so I wanna get a feel for where we want.
Attorney's office, I see the attorney he's been in and out. It makes it hard for them to come on Tuesdays because of
Sure.
court. Do we want to just have the workshop that, I haven't ran this by Jill yet, she's probably hearing it online for the first time,
Mhm.
but she will be here for the workshop that day, or is planning on being here for the workshop that day, so.
Well, I think if we'd make provisions to do it in the afternoon, the same as our board meeting, that the departments could at least cover it if they can't be there themselves.
So you would advocate for a little bit just later in the afternoon, not evening?
What, no. I'd go 1:30 in the afternoon like we've done in the past,
Okay,
on board meeting day.
okay. So we'll handle our normal business in the morning and set to do that in the afternoon.
Just
Okay.
have it on the agenda, 1:30 budget workshop.
Yes. How about with the budgets? We know that we have to make some cuts? Do you wanna wait that day to make some cuts? Do you want the budget committee to come back and recommend? Where we would say, you know, just a clarification, I'm sure Melanie understands this, but clarification wise, department heads, obviously we can go in and we can adjust line items. Elected officials, we cannot. By statute, we just have to adjust that one item at the bottom, which is the overall number.
I liked Bill's idea, you know, can you justify some of these increases? And so I think if, and this, I feel like maybe going forward in the future, this should just be part of every budget presented to the budget committee. If there's any increase or anything that should be noted, there should be a document accompanying that budget, proposed budget, saying here's where some increases are, or decreases, or notable changes, a one-time expense, anything that could help us as a board determine where we need to cut, because we're gonna need to cut. So, like I said, I've created something like that already, and helping with the assessor's budget. And I think 2 weeks would give folks ample time to create that, and so we help us make our decisions there.
We'll probably, that's the case, we'll ask for it to be done next week.
Have it, yeah, maybe next
That way
Tuesday
we
deadline.
can get that information to Jill and she can plug it back into this, that way she's ready to go the day of the meeting. And then, of course, we can still make the adjustments. We still have that LB 644 to mess with, that there could be some adjustments in there yet too before we pass our budget, so.
And maybe give everyone a chance to review it themselves, their own budgets, and say, oh, wait a minute, maybe I can, you know, hold
Sure,
off on a
right.
year on this.
Yep.
And maybe recommend those changes, but maybe let's have those changes and those supporting documentation back to the budget committee by a week from today.
Right.
Is that good enough, or or heck, I think the end of this week would even be fine, that would give you a whole.
Week from today would be okay, because I think this week. One of the things that I'm sure that affected ours, and Lori and Harvey and Paul likewise, when we used fuel numbers, we were using, I assume, somewhat worst-case scenarios. We've seen them kind of come down a little bit. I know, Jack, I agree with your comments before. A little bit makes us happy, but I think that's the trend we're seeing. Can we look at those numbers a little bit too and see if there's?
Mine also includes repairs, vehicle repairs due to having old vehicles.
Okay. So the fuel numbers we can look at just a little bit. I think that there's gonna have to be a combination of finding those cuts and unrestricted funds and make this work, you know. And one of the ideas I had posed was like we did today with the, you know, the equipment.
Yep.
And not only like the big equipment purchases, the vehicles and stuff like that, but like our data processing, using, you know, the unrestricted funds to take data processing out of the picture and stuff like that. So I think we can find the proper cuts we need.
I
Go
know we
ahead.
don't wanna raise levies just because of valuations, but are valuations gonna go up this year? Do you know, Ann?
You said a little bit.
A little bit.
She's got that finger just not that far apart.
Not that far.
And we're still at,
I can't tell you. The school district has been calling too. I can't tell anybody what their valuation is going to be, because we don't get them put together until probably tomorrow.
but we'll still be over the 3
We'll
billion.
be over some, yes.
Okay.
And then, of course, that affects that LB 644. Did everybody have an opportunity to look at that? It's 2% plus our growth rate. So it isn't just a straight 2%. So whatever growth rate we have, we add that to it. So there's a figure in there.
Now, we did vote to go to 3.5.
The 3.5 lid levy,
The
yeah,
lid.
the extra 1% on our lid exemption, yeah. Yes. Okay. Any questions from any of the department heads regarding the budget or what we're looking at, elected officials and or department heads? So we'll be going back through those numbers again. Daniel, Kelly, myself, I assume sometime this week. And then we'll visit with you. Anything else on budgets? Just, you know, if you have any questions on what Jill put out, I think those
Right.
worksheets were pretty good that she
Yep.
put out, gave percentage of increases and different things like that, so. Paul?
Just clarification from what Kurt said. So you want some kind of a document explaining why, like, we want to increase salaries for staff? Just put something in writing,
That would be fine.
Right, yeah.
just that documentation to included for next week. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and for those that are asking for employees, verification of what's being asked for and some numbers to go with that, what's being asked for.
That's above the $2 that you guys
No.
justify why we
No, there-
the $2?
That's just for additional help in it.
Oh.
There were some departments that asked for more, employees. But if there's one line item in your budget that is fairly significantly higher, then we would ask that, why you feel that you need that extra money.
Like, prime example, bring up this 644, and I was working with that postcard that's gotta go out.
Right.
I mean, that's 52 cents a postcard times, how many parcels do we have, Ann?
10,000.
So you're, that's, and there's nothing you can do about that, that's state law, And so, but on the flip side of that, you get reimbursed by the other entities that have to also comply with that law, to a certain extent. But there's, but again, I've created this document that will explain all that, so.
Okay. Anything else? Well, I look forward to the 1:30 meeting in 2 weeks. Okay, the last agenda item is discuss and act on the audit, budget and audit engagement letter for Regier, Carr, and Monroe. Jill obviously has been working with us on our budget so far, and that letter she had sent, and I did not have it in on time for the last meeting. Thank you, everybody. And now she's got the audit one to add, she added with the audit one also. And so this would just be like usual. I believe it's for me to sign.
Hey, Mitch.
Stick around, Mitch. Okay.
Yeah, it was basically the same as last time. Yep, it's for me and Kelly to sign both.
No, you just have to sign.
And you have to verify I sign it.
Well, you just have to sign.
This letter correctly sets forth the understanding and knowledge agreed on York
So
County.
you just have to sign the budget. You and I will have to sign the.
Okay.
Did we quit?
I don't know what this is over there. Any questions of the assistant? Engagement letters.
I guess my one concern that's been brought up before is and this is not a dig at Jill by any means, she's very professional, very good at what she does. I just think it's just a good professional practice. You don't contract with the same firm to do both your budget and your audit. So, she does a great job with our budget, so I fully support that, but I think we need to look at a different auditor.
And
that's not new news to you.
no, it isn't, and we had sent out, I believe at the time, for the budget, we had sent out, and this wasn't for the budget, to 2 other entities here in the state, and we didn't hear back from either one of them. So, I understand where you're coming from. State auditor doesn't have any problem with it, otherwise we'd have been flagged. And, obviously, when she helps with the budget, she just helps, it's still all our decision.
Sure.
And I believe that's how everything's working, that way, so.
So she's not actually doing it.
She is not doing it, she's helping the system.
We tell her what to plug in and she plugs in.
Yes, and she doesn't make any decisions. What's your wishes?
They want them separate or together?
Please, let's do them separate.
I would move to authorize the chairman to sign the budget engagement letter with Regier, Carr, and Monroe LLP.
Thank you, Kurt.
Second?
Thank you, Daniel. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Colvin.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Overmark.
Yes. And the audit engagement letter.
Make a motion to have the chairman sign the audit engagement letter with Regier, Carr, and Monroe LLP.
Second?
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Colvin.
No.
Sykes.
Yes.
And Overmark.
Yes. Okay, that brings us towards the end. Committee reports are next up.
Got everything?
I think so. Did I miss something?
Oh, that's good.
I don't think so. Got a lot of scribbles out there, but I don't think so. We postponed the deputy wages, so we'll ask, because we did not get, we got budgets turned in, but we didn't get any sheets turned in. Just, I know, two. So we've got to request that yet.
Just a quick question on the deputies' salaries. For positions that are currently not filled and/or if someone, personnel is changed in that position, is that, like, the wage that we're setting here is for the current personnel in that position?
Yeah.
And it could be changed, like, if the personnel in that position is changed, the wage could change accordingly, correct?
As long as their budget could sustain
Right,
it.
exactly. Okay.
Which I think most budgets have a deputy wage plugged in there already, so
Yeah,
whether there's a deputy there or not. Correct.
right. Thank you. Committee reports. Bill, do you got anything?
Only thing I have to report is
You know who
that
I am.
last Wednesday, Jack and I both attended the VA advisory board meeting, and we did look at next budget very carefully, and basically there's no change except for a little bit in the salary, which we've now set anyway. So, other than that, I do have one thing I would like to report, and it's kind of off the cuff. And we have talked about, Jack has brought this up numerous times, about the ARPA funds for employees. We know that is probably not gonna work, because the majority of this board is not for it. I'll be leaving this board in a few months, and I would ask that, as far as the ARPA funds, and relating to the safety committee, we have talked about this in the past, to maybe look at one point of entry into this courthouse as far as safety. I would really like to leave you guys with that recommendation, to look at that in the future. So, that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Bill. Jack?
Well, I'll also say that we, Bill and I attended the Veteran Service meeting at noon, and then at 3:30, I attended a Four Corners Board of Health meeting on the building committee. I think we're still looking for send for that information there for that grant. It hasn't been approved or anything, but they have money that they're going to use to do some of that, so it's not at a dead standstill, but we're still waiting for information from that grant, okay? And
Okay.
going along with what Bill said about the security and safety of this building, we shouldn't talk about it while it's on that, because that's something that you should talk about in private. But I think in 2013, when I first got on this board, I was put on the safety and security. We had an inventory come out from Homeland Security. They did a complete survey of this building because when it was built, they had no idea of what kind of world we're going to be living in. So I think we really need to look at it, and it's not going to be cheap to change this building around to a one entrance place. And to have guards, some kind of security watching that. So along with what Bill said, I would think we all need to look at that and really think about it. I did take a course with the FBI a long, long time ago about building security, defensible space. And this is not a dispensable place. We should have a door back here so we could exit the building. Because if somebody comes through that door, you're dead. And I don't care how fast you are ducking, you're not gonna get out of a bullet. End of soapbox.
Okay. Daniel?
Went up and walked around the fair this week. It was good production, good turnout looked like. YCDC, the exec committee meets tomorrow. So Lisa has a few things I think to go over, so it should be a good meeting. Couple committees that have come out of that, out of the YCDC. There's a daycare, child care committee that is currently in process looking at ways to improve and add spaces for childcare in York County. So if anybody has thoughts of somebody in the county system that might want to be on that committee that could attend and then return back and share with us, I know that they would be happy to have more people on that committee. And there is as we saw in our last board meeting, a number of the parcels that were previously owned by the city, were sold to private individuals and put on the tax rolls, private companies or individuals. And so the city is currently without industrial site space, and so there's a committee that's reviewing areas where the next industrial site should be targeted. So I'm going to be sitting on that committee and see where that goes. Tech committee, we were going to have a Zoom meeting this afternoon regarding a new product that this company wants to show us and see if it could work for York County. But some of the key individuals are out this week, and so we're going to postpone that. And we all saw the fruits of the budget committee, so don't need to add anything there, I guess.
Don't throw your back out hat.
Kurt, you got anything?
But seriously, thank you guys for the initial work on that. So that's really helpful for the rest of us to look that over and deliberate what we're thinking on our budget concerns too, and priorities, and identify those things. I signed up for, and just to bring it up, you guys do what you want. Send has, I think Kelly sent that out, some webinars coming up on TIF and how it works in the different aspects of the legal profession, banking profession, government, whatever. So I signed up for those things. Also, there's the Central District meeting next month in Aurora. Signed up for that. It'd be a good one to go to. There's a lot of educational opportunities out there. I think, we don't deal with TIF a whole lot here. That's more of the cities deal with that more, but at the same time, it impacts what we do here when it comes down to valuations. So, other than that, there's a Blue Valley meeting on the 16th of this month in Geneva. I'll be participating in that by Zoom or in person. And I think that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. But also attended the county fair, so it was Fair Board did an excellent job again this year in the extension office. We worked the food stand there Friday night, and I think everyone that works in the extension office was working the food stand too. So it was, they put the time in, so they go over and above.
It was a better night to work it than Saturday night.
Well, we stopped in there.
Well, I just mean that got sick Saturday.
Well, yeah, me and my son walked in there Saturday afternoon and that was all going on, so we got out because we didn't know what was going on. So hopefully everyone's doing well there, so. Mr. Chairman, that's it.
Thank you. As Kirk brought up, there is Central District meeting. If you want to sign up, you can. The annual meeting, just a reminder, the annual meeting is the second full week of December. NACO ran it a little bit different this year. We do have a block of 10 rooms. I think some of them are spoken for. All of them are spoken for. So unfortunately, if you want to go yet, and it looked like the rooms in that area were taken. I don't know, I did not look at where we had been on the south side.
Just from the emails I had, people are really are having a hard time finding a place to stay.
Yes, so that would be something to encourage if those who have not or decide not to go. If you want to go, you better be looking for a room because apparently it was a frenzy that day. Most of my time over the last couple of weeks has been budget oriented, which it looks like the next couple of weeks will be the same thing also, which is fine. We'll get through this somehow.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
It was a little bit, obviously, more challenging this year because two of the key people that was part of it are no longer are here with us at York County, so that makes it just a little bit more challenging. But I think we got through, for the most part, it fairly well. We still have some big decisions to make as far as that is concerned. I would say that if I was wondering about Stan, that's gonna be our next commissioner. Had he talked to you about any budget information?
No, and I encouraged him way back to make sure to be here for the budget process. Maybe, do you have any problem if I ask him here to work through the budget workshop?
I mean, I think it's educational at the very least, because he's gonna be in on half of it. Absolutely. If he needs some materials or something, just have him.
I'd have no problem if we provided him with some hard copies of what's been
Well,
proposed,
they're
just so he
public,
can have it, yeah.
public information anyway, that if I was wondering about him the other day, and then I went on to other stuff, so.
I really thought he'd be here today.
We have a lot to sign, so don't run away. We'll have to alter the one, right?
That's not what you signed. Everything else is what you signed, but yeah, we'll fix that.
Sign also. Do you have anything this morning?
You guys said everything I had.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Took your
Stole it away.
That's all right.
Kelly was at the fair too, because I seen her.
Yep, just one night, sorry.
But it was the hot night. Yeah, I was there the hot night, so. Okay.
No.
Chris, you're hanging around? Just hanging around? Just
I'm just hanging around.
spectator sport today?
Yep.
Okay, good. We will need to get going on the zoning stuff.
Yep.
And then we will, as we talked about today with the haul route agreements and stuff like that, we're gonna have to review those and be spot on that stuff
Do you have
also.
any of those copies from the old one?
I
I think I do.
Do you? Because if you don't, I think I've still got all my material.
we need to. I assume we're gonna have visitors pretty regular, going forward. I have talked to some members of the public that their land's in it, and, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of opposition
What?
that are in the line.
Oh, you mean for the carbon solution?
Yeah.
I'll
so-
guarantee you, Jane Kleb won't go away.
That's
He was
fine.
here today.
Yeah, I see that. That's good.
More the merrier.
Anything else? Anybody got anything else? Jack? go
Only thing
ahead.
I'd add to that is, I was with the aging booth up at the fair,
Okay.
and right next to me was a group that was getting petitions signed for the McCool project.
Okay.
against it. They had, I don't know, a couple dozen signatures on it. But they were quite adamant about it. I said, give the information to our new zoning administrator.
Thanks for that.
Okay. Anything else? We are adjourned.